Hey guys, welcome back to Performance Mates. So today we'll start our first session on Jmeter. But before we go on the tool, we should know some basics. How can we use this tool? What are the different elements on this tool, and etc. etc. So basically, Jmeter is a software which can perform load testing, performance-oriented business functional test, regression tests, etc. So it can support different protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, web services like SOAP and XML, databases JDBC drivers, LDAP, messaging oriented services like JMS, etc., and services like POP3, IMAP, SMTP, etc. etc. So, Stefano Mozashi was the person who actually developed this software, and later on, many people contributed to this software to make this work well and to make this software grow. So, as you all know, this is an open source software which is freely available and it is a very simple and initiative GUI. It can conduct many types of performance testing, and also some organization use it to do some regression testing. It's a Java based application, so it's a platform independent tool which can be run on Unix or Linux machine as well as the Windows machine. So it stores everything in an XML format. So this means that you can generate a test plan using a text editor also. You can edit anything on that XML. So it's a fully multi-threading framework that allows concurrent sampling by many threads and simultaneous sampling of different functions by separating those thread groups. It's highly extensible. If you know Java and if you are a good developer, you can easily extend it to as much as you can, and you can do anything on this tool. It can also be used to perform automated and functional testing, as I earlier told that this software can also be used as a regression testing suite. So the download and system requirements are basically you should have JTK 1.6 or above in your machine, and the latest version of Jmeter from this URL which is listed here, and download this whatever is the latest version available there. Currently 3.2 is the latest one, so I have 2.9 in my machine, so they work similar. So this is how a Jmeter works. So once we start the test, it creates a request to target server, and then it sends those requests to a server. Once the server responds, this Jmeter saves all the response and it collects all the data to show us the reports. And then at the end, we can create those reports with the help of these data. Components of Jmeter basically there is a test plan, then thread group, controllers, listeners, timers, assertions, configuration elements, preprocessors, post processors. So we will learn each and every element in the next classes. So what is thread group basically? Thread group is the first component of your test plan which actually controls the number of threads. How many threads you want, how many users you want to put on your system, you can control it from thread group. So it allows you to set the number of threads, set the ramp up period, and set the number of times to execute the test. So basic controllers of JMeter are basically of two types. First is samplers and second is logic controllers. So samplers are basically which send requests to your server and wait for the response. So whatever requests you have to send, you have to add a sampler for that. These sampler are basically your protocol supporters which actually support your protocol. Like if you have to send a FTP request, you have to add a sampler of FTP request. So if you have to send a HTTP request, you have to add a HTTP sampler, and so on. If a JDBC, then JDBC. If a Java, then Java sampler. If a JMS, then you have to add a JMS sampler, and etc. etc. Second type of controllers are called logic controllers. They actually provide a logic to your test plan. So if you have to add a loop, if you have to add randomization, if you have to calculate the throughput, if you have to give some loops or conditions, so you have to use logic controllers for everything. So it actually lets you customize the logic that JMeter uses to decide when to send a request and how to send a request. So these are some basics you should know before we go to JMeter tool. So if you are using a Windows machine, you can directly go to that apache.org and download the latest software, extract it, then go to bin. In bin, you will find a jmeter.bat file. Just double click on that file and it will open. If you are using a Mac machine, then follow the steps which I am doing. You have to first open this terminal. On the terminal, you just paste the path where your jmeter.sh file is lying, and hit enter. So after you hit enter, you will see this writing to log file and this a simple message that says don't use GUI mode for load testing, only for test creation and test debugging. It is not recommended to run a load test on this GUI. What we do is basically we create a test plan here and then we run it through our this terminal. Okay, so this is how your Jmeter screen looks like once you open this. So basically there are two elements. As I told you, this is a test plan where your whole test plan lies. Whatever you create, you have to put everything below this, and this is your workbench. So what workbench does is basically it provides you a kind of clipboard where you can copy and paste things. So whenever you copy something, it is temporarily stored in the workbench. Let's see how to create a basic test plan. Okay, so before that I should tell you first thing is how to add a thread group. So click on this, add, go to threads, and then click on thread group. This is a thread group which is actually responsible to put load on your server or an application. So if you say, you can change this name to users, anything whatever you feel like. So this number of threads means how many number of users you want to put there. So currently I'm using it as 1, I'm keeping it as 1. Ramp up period is 1 also, and loop count is also 1. So number of threads is basically how many users you want to put to the application. Ramp up period is basically how much time you want to ramp up those users. Let's say if you want to put 10 users in 10 seconds, so that 10-second is your ramp up period, and the number of user is this. So I'll put as 10, and the ramp up period as 10 also. That means every user will be added in every second. The loop count is basically simple, how many loops you want to run. So currently I'm just giving it as 1. Don't give much value for now. I'll tell you when to increase the load. So I have given 1 1 1 in each, and then if you want to delay some thread creation, so if you want to put some scheduler, you can schedule the test also. These are different options which Jmeter provides. So let's say if you want to schedule a test on some particular time, you can click on scheduler. You can give the start time and end time. It will start on that time and it will end that test on the particular time. So I'm not using a scheduler for now, I'm just disabling this. So after this, the second thing which we add is basically samplers. That means what protocol you want to test. So currently we are learning this HTTP request, that means those websites. So I'm using this HTTP request sampler. Change the sampler name, say home page. So after changing the name, let's put the server name, that means the application you want to test. So currently we are using a demo application, that is newtools.demoaut.com. So I'll remove this HTTP part because we don't have to give this, we just have to give the address only. So this is a basic testing site, it's a Mercury Tour website you can put because it is actually used for testing purpose. And don't put some live site like Flipkart, Google, or anything that is not legal. They might sue you for this. So after adding a sampler, what we'll do, we'll add a listener. So what listener does basically, it actually listens to your request and response. So it will tell you what you sent and what you got back from the server. So to add a listener, we'll click on users, click on add, go to the last, you can see the listener, click on listeners and click on view results tree. So it is also done. So the last thing is you should add some configuration elements, because so sometimes some sites use some caches or some cookies. So to handle those, you must use this cookie manager or cache manager. So currently I'm using a cookie manager. It's not necessary to add this cookie manager every time, but I prefer it to add before I create a test plan, because sometimes some sites actually use cookies and they don't run if you don't add this cookie manager. So this is how our simple test plan looks like, the basic test plan. Okay, you should save it save test plan as my first test on the desktop. I'm saving it. Just save it. It is already on the desktop, so that's why it is saying file already exists. So just ignore it. Okay, now we have saved our first test plan. So now we'll run this test plan to see what happens. So how to run the test plan? You can see this green button. This is actually from where we run the test. You can see the start. So just click on the start and see what happens. So okay, so we got the green response. That means we actually hit the server and we got some response. So if it is green, that means you got a response which is good. That means you passed the test. So let's see what request we sent. So you see this window, you can go to this and click on request. It is saying that you hit http newtools.demoat.com. If you want to see what actually you got from the server, you can click on this response data. So this response is showing you the response which you got from the server. Okay, so there are some more options in this drop down. So if you want to see the HTML version, you can click on this HTML and it will show you the HTML version of the site. So you see this site is the same site which we saw on our Google Chrome. So this is how this site looks. That means you got the correct response. So this is how we create a basic test plan in Jmeter. So in the next session, I'll tell you how to record the scripts and how to manipulate your scripts. And we'll learn some more elements in Jmeter. So stay tuned. I'll be posting next video soon. Thank you. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe and comment and stay tuned.